Creatine used to live in one corner of the internet: gym bags, shaker bottles, and conversations about getting stronger. Now it is everywhere. Wellness podcasts mention it. Aging conversations mention it. Office workers add it to coffee. The supplement did not suddenly become new. The audience changed. That matters, because creatine is a useful compound with a boring mechanism. But boring mechanisms rarely stay boring once the market discovers a larger story. A product can move from evidence-based tool to cultural symbol without changing a single molecule. So before treating creatine as either a miracle powder or another fitness fad, it helps to ask a better question. What does it actually do? What are people hoping it will do? And why did those hopes expand so quickly? Your cells use a molecule called ATP as a fast source of usable energy. Think of ATP less like a giant fuel tank and more like cash in your pocket. Immediately useful, but limited. During brief, demanding effort, your body needs to replenish that spendable energy quickly. Creatine helps by supporting a phosphocreatine buffer that can restore ATP during those short bursts. That is why the clearest use case has always been performance during repeated high-intensity effort and the training adaptations that can follow. It does not replace sleep, food, or training. It does not create energy from nothing. It helps a specific energy system do a specific job more reliably. The mechanism is valuable precisely because it is narrower than the internet makes it sound. So why did creatine escape sports nutrition? Partly because the conversation around strength changed. Strength is no longer marketed only as an athletic goal. It is increasingly framed as part of aging well, maintaining function, and preserving independence. At the same time, wellness media rewards any ingredient that can plausibly sit at the intersection of exercise, energy, and healthy aging. Creatine fits that story unusually well. It is familiar enough to feel tested, inexpensive enough to feel accessible, and simple enough to explain in a 30-second clip. That combination is powerful. The rise of creatine is not just a supplement story. It is a story about a public trying to turn a vague fear of decline into one small action that feels concrete. The strongest case for creatine remains the least glamorous one. It can support performance in repeated, short, intense efforts, and it can help people get more out of resistance training. That does not mean every person will notice a dramatic difference. It means the effect sits inside a system. If training is consistent, the buffer can help support better work over time. If training is absent, creatine is not secretly doing the training for you. Beyond that core, researchers continue to study other questions, including cognition, recovery, and aging-related outcomes. Some of that work is interesting. Interesting is not the same as settled. The honest version of the creatine story has a strong center and a softer edge. Online marketing often reverses those priorities. One reason creatine creates confusing conversations is that the scale can move. Creatine can increase water stored with muscle tissue. For some people, that means an early change in body weight. Online, that simple fact gets translated badly. One side treats any scale increase as a problem. Another side treats it as proof of instant muscle growth. Neither is useful. A scale measures mass, not meaning. Water associated with muscle tissue is not the same thing as gaining body fat. It is also not a shortcut to building muscle. This is a recurring human protocol problem. A metric changes, and people rush to assign a moral story to it. Better interpretation starts by asking what the instrument can actually see. Once a useful ingredient becomes culturally hot, the product ecosystem expands around it. Powders become gummies. Gummies become blends. Blends become premium rituals with better packaging and fuzzier promises. This does not mean every new product is bad. It means the burden shifts to the buyer. You have to separate the compound from the theater around the compound. Creatine is a particularly good example because the basic idea is not complicated. Complexity can be added mainly to create differentiation, flavors, stacks, lifestyle language, proprietary mixtures, and claims that stretch beyond the evidence. The more exciting the package becomes, the more useful it is to return to the boring question. What exactly is in this? And what specific outcome am I expecting? A useful supplement still needs context. Are you treating it like an addition to a functioning routine or a substitute for one? Are you choosing a clearly labeled product or paying for a cloud of extra claims? Do you have a medical reason to ask a clinician before adding a supplement, including kidney-related concerns or other health conditions? Are you reacting to one scale reading without understanding what changed? None of these questions are dramatic. That is why they are easy to skip. Marketing wants a clean identity, the person who knows the new thing early. Better health decisions are usually less cinematic. They look like checking the label, noticing your own context, and refusing to turn one tool into a belief system. The best creatine protocol is intentionally unexciting. Start with the actual goal. If your goal involves training performance or supporting a consistent strength routine, creatine may be worth considering. Choose a straightforward product with a clear label. Follow the product directions and use professional guidance when your health context calls for it. Expect the scale to be a noisy narrator, especially early on. Then judge the tool by the system it is supposed to support: training quality, consistency, recovery habits, and whether the routine is sustainable. The point is not to obsess over a scoop. The point is to make one reasonable decision and move on. A supplement should reduce friction inside a good system, not become another full-time job. The creatine boom makes sense because it arrived at the right cultural moment. People want more energy, more strength, and more protection against decline. They also want one action simple enough to perform tomorrow morning. Creatine offers a credible answer to a narrow part of that desire. The mistake is not taking creatine. The mistake is asking one scoop to carry the weight of an entire health strategy. Useful tools deserve neither worship nor dismissal. They deserve correct placement. Keep the strong evidence at the center. Keep emerging claims at the edge until they earn more certainty. Keep the product simpler than the marketing wants it to be. And keep the larger protocol intact. Train, eat, sleep, recover, repeat. The compound can help. The system still does the work.